Welcome to the Chris Hanna Show. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Chris Hanna Show. Today we're going to be talking about owning your mistakes. Look, truth is, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. Heck, I've made a ton of mistakes throughout my life, and I'm sure I'll continue to do the same. The difference, though, is that some people own their mistakes and admit them, whereas others do not. I'm a firm believer that to show accountability, everyone needs to own their mistakes. Whether it's a little mistake or something catastrophic, we must accept the consequences of our actions. We all make decisions in life, and from the mundane to the monumental, decisions are made. Sometimes those decisions work out, sometimes they don't. But what matters most is when decisions don't work out as expected, we actually learn from them. I actually think it's great if you can make mistakes, because that's an opportunity to learn, to be better, to grow, evolve, adapt. I've learned some lessons throughout my career where I've made some mistakes. I've been leading and managing teams for 15 years now, and I'll admit that I've made a ton of mistakes. There's been times where I've said the wrong thing or I've done the wrong thing. I know I've been guilty of hiring the wrong people, or sometimes promoting the wrong people. Sometimes people who are just not ready to step up yet. And while it's unfortunate that you sometimes make mistakes, I choose to own them. Because all you can do is learn from the lessons of owning some of your mistakes and apply that experience next time to do better. I think that's what it comes down to when you do make an error. We all make mistakes, but we need to learn from them. We need to accept that it doesn't have to be perfect all the time. But there's no point in hiding a mistake. Just admit it. It's a lot easier for everyone. But when we talk about mistakes, we have to ask ourselves, why are we making them in the first place? There are plenty of reasons why we might make mistakes. Sometimes we're just lazy. Right? It's the easy way out sometimes that we take, and that comes back to bite us. Other times we haven't done enough due diligence before making a decision. Sometimes we just operate carelessly and recklessly. But then there's also times where we care too much, and that can cause problems as well. I believe that most people operate with the best intentions overall, but look, the truth is, sometimes things just go awry. Despite our best efforts, not everything's going to go to plan. There are things that happen that we just don't see coming, or there's other forces, whether they're external to the plan or something internal that you couldn't have anticipated, that causes things to go awry. You got to deal with it. You got to accept responsibility and accountability for the situation, and ultimately learn from it so you can improve the next time around. But I get it. It's uncomfortable to step outside of your comfort zone and to own your mistakes. That takes a level of vulnerability in doing so. And the regular listeners of the podcast know I advocate for people to be confident and strive to be bold and know what they know and do what they do in their zone of strength. But I recognize how tough it can be to be humble and to fall on your sword. But that's a huge part of just being authentic. It's never easy to admit that you have lost or that you have made some sort of error. But, and I think this is important for a lot of people to remember, most mistakes are fixable. They are. Most mistakes are not life or death. And for many of us, that's true. But it's through making mistakes where the most significant lessons can ultimately be learned. You have to try new things, You have to be willing to take a chance, take a risk. You got to put yourself out there. And you might not always win. You might not always get what you want. And you might have made a mistake. But then you know for next time. Because it's all about drawing on that history of experiences to make the best decision when it matters most. I talked about in an earlier episode that only a handful of moments define our lives. And I think that's true. You might make a mistake one day, and maybe when you really look back on it, it doesn't make a world of difference. But then there's times where you've come through on the other side and you've made the right decision and everything has worked out perfectly, and that opens up doors and opportunities for you. That's what it's all about. You want to set yourself up for success. You need to make as many right decisions as possible, but when you make the wrong ones, you at least learn from them so that you can set yourself up for success down the road. But try new things, and if you fail or screw up, that's okay. Because the most significant benefit of making a mistake is learning something so that next time you could be better.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Chris Hanna Show. As always, the latest episodes are available to listen and subscribe to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also follow The Chris Hanna Show on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Twitter. For more resources and solutions, including blog posts, toolkits, ebooks, speaking sessions, and more, visit chrishanna.ca today. We look forward to connecting again with you soon for another episode of The Chris Hanna Show.